Alright guys, welcome back to another operaomnia video where we're going to be talking about Vivi's LD extension and his rework that he will be getting alongside with the release of the Act 3 Chapter 4 Part 2 story update. Now, Vivi is a global first LD character, and for those who just recently started playing the game or are brand new players, Vivi being a global first character means that his LD weapon came to global first before it arrived to the JP side. So most players on the global side are pretty familiar with how Vivi's LD weapon works and how his LD ability works. So with that being said, I am not going to be going over how his LD ability works, but to those who do not know how his ability works, I will post a link down in the description of this video and in a pinned comment for this video, where you can check out what his ability does. This video is mainly going to be focusing on his LD extension and the rework that he's going to be getting alongside with the story update that will be released to global. Now, with all that being said, is this banner going to be worth it? Because this is the final banner before the release of the BT Plus era and the Lufenia Plus era that will finally be hitting global here in the next few weeks. It is finally close to that time where we step up into the next difficulty for global operaomnia players. So we're gonna determine whether or not it is worth pulling on this banner right before the next era for global operaomnia. So with that being said, if you guys do enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future operaomnia content. Let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. Let's talk about his LD extension and his rework, and then briefly talk about whether or not it is worth pulling on this upcoming banner. So with Vivi's rework, on his skill 1 fire, whenever you use fire, he now deals 50% splash HP damage to non-targets. For his skill 2 focus, whenever you use this focus ability, he now lowers action delay and is nulled with the focus light passive equipped. Now after you use it, it increases the total brave hits by 1, increases brave potency by medium amounts, and recovers brave to himself based on 30% of the HP damage dealt. Finally, whenever using Fire Plus, it turns the brave attacks to AoE, and it deals 50% splash HP damage to non-targets. Vivi's LD extension, Black Magic of Darkness. Whenever you use this LD ability, he grants 5 stacks of the special effect, which is the overhead above him, to himself before attacking instead of after attacking. He increases the total brave hits by 2, increases the brave potency by a tremendous amount, and increases the stolen brave max brave overflow by 30% or up to 150%. When using the Embers of Darkness, which is the follow-up attack that he does after using any of his abilities, increases the brave potency based on attack by 30%, so now it is based on 100% of his attack, and increases the brave potency by a large amount. He also adds the following effects to the overhead that he grants to himself. When dealing the elemental weakness damage to the target, he increases the brave damage dealt by 30% and also gives himself an HP damage delta by 10% HP damage delta. Now, he also gives himself an additional effect to his overhead as long as he has 1 stack. So if he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then he gives himself an additional 20% HP damage delta. So in total, he will have a 30% HP damage delta as long as he has 1 stack. Now, if he reaches 0, he will still have at the minimum a 10% HP damage delta. Finally, we'll talk about his call abilities. Now, for his first call ability, Fire Plus will grant the caller a brave regen based on 100% of the initial brave and a 20% max brave up. Now, for Vivi's LD call, will grant the caller for 3 actions a 40% attack up, a 20% fire enchant, a 30% elemental weakness brave damage up, and a 10% HP damage dealt up with a 20% elemental weakness stolen brave max brave overflow limit up. So now we get to the point in the video where you guys decide whether or not it is worth pulling for Vivi's LD weapon based off of what you have already heard so far in this video, or what you have already seen based on the link that I posted down in the description of the video, or the pinned comments that I posted on this video in the comment section. So I will say that it is going to be a difficult decision for some players, because I mean, you know, it's Vivi. Who doesn't like Vivi? Vivi is a fan favorite for many Final Fantasy players in general. Like, who doesn't know Vivi, right? Like, I knew Vivi. I've never played, and I know it's gonna be a shocker to some of you guys. Some of you guys might not like this. I know. Believe me, if I had the extra time, I would love to play it. But yes, I have not played Final Fantasy IX, but I mean, even I myself know who Vivi is, right? So Vivi is definitely a fan favorite for many, but where we stand right now in Global Operaomnia, because like BT Plus era, Lufenia Plus era is literally next week as I'm recording this video, it's gonna be a very tough decision. It's gonna be like, man, like, do I want to pull for Vivi? Do I want to hold off? You know, I know that there's gonna be plenty of people who's gonna say like, yeah, easy skip. I want to wait for BT Plus era. I want to save, you know, so on and so forth. Completely understandable. I don't blame you one bit. But for those who are, you know, kind of like, oh, it's Vivi, like I want to pick up his LD, especially to those who are newer players or players who missed out or weren't around, seeing as how Vivi is a global first LD character that came to global first before JP. You know, it might be a tough decision for those small batch of players. But I will say real quick, Vivi, the fact that with his LD ability and his follow-ups having that defense ignore mechanic, which I have said in the past before in a lot of my previous videos for previous characters who have the same mechanic, that mechanic is very powerful. For those who did pull on previous characters who have had that same mechanic, you know, can agree with me that that mechanic really does come in handy. And especially those who, let's say, missed out on Setzer, who decided to skip out on Setzer and have those characters with that mechanic, can agree with me that believe me, that mechanic does come in handy for a good amount of situations. Defense ignore is something that should not be ignored, and I promise you that was not meant to be done on purpose or pun or whatever it is. I don't know. But you know, just for Vivi having that in his kit will really help him out. It'll help him out in shaving Brave in case the enemy decides, oh hey, look at me, I decided to give myself a big shield. I decided to gain a big amount of Brave. Well, guess what? I have a Vivi and I'm going to shave that off because I have defense ignore and I could care less about it. You know, it's just like stuff like that that can help you out with those type of situations with that defense ignore mechanic. But aside from that, though, I mean, like the small rework that he got does help him out a little bit. He did get his crystal level 90 for those who are curious about it, about longevity wise, you know, like how he looks in the future. He has gotten his crystal level 90. He is pretty freaking nuts with his crystal level 90. I know you may or may not have seen, actually, no, I take that back. Because with the 6 warrior quest, or like the whole like six man party thing that JP recently had not too long ago, some of you guys may or may not have seen some JP players have done Final Fantasy themed runs, and some of y'all may have seen Vivi being used recently. But Vivi does have his crystal level 90. Vivi did get a very nice upgrade in his kit. So, you know, that is something to look forward to if by chance you are considering picking up his LD weapon, if you did not manage to pick it up when it first got introduced to Global first before it got released to the JP side. So, but overall, though, I mean, you know, if you decide to throw some tickets at it, it's not, I can't, you know, I won't say that it's not a bad choice. I won't say that it's a bad choice. I mean, if it's your favorite, go for it. It's not a bad choice because of the fact that he does have that defense ignoring mechanic. But again, I do not blame anybody for skipping this banner just because of the fact that BT Plus era and Lufenia Plus era are literally around the corner. So, you know, really the choice is yours and how you guys feel about it. But you know, with that being said, I mean, there's really not much else to really say too much about Vivi, other than the fact that that defensive ignoring mechanic that he now has is definitely something to not overlook. Let's just say that. So if you're needing a character that does have that in his kit, Vivi's one to consider. But again, you know, looking at some gameplay, you know, that other YouTubers have uploaded would be another thing to look at if you're still trying to decide, for those who do not have his LD. But other than that, though, guys, this is going to be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But with that being said, if you guys did enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future operaomnia content. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your plans are going to be for this upcoming banner. And yeah, take care, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.